Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 3rd of September. It is Wednesday. We do have a 4-game day slate with an 8-game main slate this evening. Based on our weather station right now, we have slight delay risk in Tampa Bay and St. Louis. Everything else should be clear. Best hitting environments, of course, in Tampa Bay and then Colorado. Early slate hitting environments not really all that great overall. Great spot in the San Diego game, which is unfortunate because that is the chalkiest pitcher. And I do have some question marks about that. But a reminder, this is a first look at all of the pitching options on the slate. And I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play on FanDuel, I'd cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, with all that said and done, let's just jump into this first 4-gamer. I was looking at ownership numbers right before I started recording, and we see him here. Nestor Cortes, the overwhelming chalk, with Zach Gallen right behind him. Feels really odd. I guess given that it's a 4-gamer and the options we have, maybe it's not that odd, but the idea of playing Nestor Cortes, 55 to 60%, is really worrisome. I realize that Baltimore's pretty bad against left-handed pitching, but it is Nestor Cortes. It's tough to trust him that much, given that I don't know that he has a lot of safety to him by any means. And Zach Gallen has been all over the place in terms of his performances this year at, 47 to 50%, somewhere in there. Texas's bats had been pretty warm recently, so it's a spot where I think I'm going to like Texas bats quite a bit more than Zach Gallen. Yuri Perez not too far behind. I think I put him ahead of both these guys. He gets a 100 rating in RDS. So he is going to fit in for me along with Jack Leiter quite a bit. I'm not obviously the largest Jack Leiter fan by any means, but seeing him at 17%, the clear drop off after the top 3, intrigues me enough. Kind of going game by game here. Yuri Perez, like I mentioned, somebody that I'm very interested in, coming off of a terrible start. Obviously a tough opponent. The game prior to that was pretty solid against a tough Toronto squad. I just like the upside. I like his ability. Didn't strike anybody out the last time he faced Washington, which is a little worrisome. But, the big thing here is he is weaker on the road, and that's obviously scary. 9 home runs allowed on the road, 9 home runs on the season, all of which on the road. So, with that said, I just like Yuri Perez's upside. Never really know what we're going to get out of Washington's offense. Despite him being on the road, Miami's a minus 145 favorite, which is the second largest favorite on the slate behind San Diego. Mitchell Parker on the other side, I don't think I'm getting there. I feel like he's somebody we've used a couple times this season early, but I just don't think he's viable. Struggled mightily against Miami in 2 starts. His overall numbers are just atrocious. Allows a ton of base runners. I just don't think we can get there on this particular slate. Obviously, 4-gamer, like any of the 8 pitchers, probably could end up in the winning lineup, but going to try to increase my odds of hitting the combination that wins. And by not playing Mitchell Parker, that should help out a little bit. Not a ton of ownership on him, but still, I would like to trim my combinations. Next up, Detroit and the Mets. Clay Holmes, somebody that I'm just not a fan of using. We've talked about it extensively on this video for a while. Think I'm going to sneak him in today just because Detroit can strike out a little bit. And I think he has just enough on this slate. If he puts up a 17 or 18, that could be SB2 territory. I mean, the slate probably is pretty bad if that ends up happening, but I think it's possible. Maybe he can approach 20 with his increased K upside in the matchup. The other side, Casey Mize, I don't think I'm getting to Mize. He's been pretty good at home. But K numbers are weaker, and this Mets offense has been putting up some runs. I just don't think I want to go there. So I think Mize is just like my fade because I want to believe the Mets offense continues to get it done. It could hurt because Mize definitely has the ability to end up as SP1 or SP2 on the slate. But I'm just going to truly believe in the Mets offense today. Gallen and later, talked about Gallen. He's throwing really well right now. Maybe that's kind of why his increase in ownership. Struggled against Texas the one time he faced them. Traditionally been better at home, but this year it's been better on the road. I mean, I'm going to use him. It's just, I don't know that I'm going to get to nearly 50% of him. Jack Leiter with back-to-back really strong starts. He was better against Arizona than Gallen was against Texas. Later on the road hasn't been good. A ton of base runners, and that's my biggest worry here. But that Arizona lineup is pretty weakened without Gurriel now. So the bottom half of that lineup definitely can be gotten. And I think Leiter has been pretty good against left-handed bats. I feel like most of his problems come against right-handed bats for the most part. About 140 points difference in OPS between right-handed bats and left-handed bats. So I think Leiter might be all right, depending on that Arizona lineup. Cade Povich, there's K upside by him, but there's not K upside in this matchup. San Diego can struggle against left-handed pitching, so I want to use Povich. I think he's definitely much better than Mitchell Parker, Casey Mize. Probably better than Clay Holmes, to be honest, but I'm going to utilize both of them. Nestor Cortez, coming off a rough performance against the Twins, where people were on him. He's tough to trust, but Baltimore, like I mentioned, so weak against left-handed pitching that he makes sense to be the chalkiest. I just don't like as high as the number has gotten. Main slate, first game, Seattle, Tampa Bay. Obviously in this ballpark, a lot of questionable scenarios. Adrian Hauser, 2 starts against Seattle, not great. Not a big K guy. His home road splits are kind of to be taken with a grain of salt because he's been in multiple places so far this season, so it's tough to gauge. I think I'm going to have to pass on Hauser as much as I like the K increase as far as upside. I'm just going to have to pass. George Kirby, I think he has enough upside. He has been rougher on the road, but his K numbers jump up. He just allows a few more home runs. This is a guy that's got a ton of talent, so I'm just going to play him, understanding that there is some volatility to it. Atlanta, Chicago. One thing I forgot to look at was the Chicago wind. It's blowing in from left field. It is warmer. Chicago going to be without Kyle Tucker today, so that's not going to make Bryce Elder playable. Saying all that to find out that it's Bryce Elder. If he puts up 18 points and we lose, so be it. Puts up 23 points and I lose, then whatever. Cade Horton has had some really strong starts of late. 27 plus in 3 out of his last 5. I am going to play him. It's dangerous, I get it. His numbers at home have been really strong. Was a first-round draft pick, so I expect his K numbers to increase as he gets more and more comfortable at the major league level. So I am going to be on Cade Horton. Obviously, 7 and 8 strikeouts in 2 out of his last 4 starts, so they've been there. I am going to play some Cade Horton for sure on this particular slate. White Sox, Twins. Zebby Matthews struggled against the White Sox first time he faced them. His performance is kind of all over the place. Been strong from a strikeout perspective all season and especially at home. Not allowing home runs at home, which is nice to see. It's not the best spot because the White Sox just annoy us, but I think I'm going to sprinkle in some Zebby Matthews because there's enough upside. But it is truly going to be a sprinkle just because I can't really trust him. Yoendrys Gomez on the other side, couldn't qualify for the W the first time he faced the Twins, but still put up 19.5 fantasy points. His numbers on the road have been bad. Just 6 strikeouts and 12 1/3. I feel like that's more of an outlier scenario. He's only made 1 start on the road, so, some of his numbers are just skewed because of the start or not start. The one issue I worry about here is the 9 walks over the last 2 starts. With that said, I am going to play him. I think it's a pretty solid matchup for him. We played him here, and it looked good. A couple of not so good ones here, but a strong one against Detroit as well. It's a volatile pitcher, really. But I will be utilizing him against the Twins. Philly, Milwaukee, I'm not interested in either pitcher. Nola's got to show me a lot more against a hotter Milwaukee squad. Angels in Kansas City, Caden Dana, kind of a big-time prospect, but he just hasn't gotten it done at the major league level. There's not a lot of K upside in the matchup. Ryan Bergert, somebody I'm going to use. Not a big K guy, but he does get a K bump. And we did see him strike out 8 against Minnesota, 7 against the White Sox. So he's somebody I want to utilize in that plus K matchup. The A's and Cardinals, not going to get there. Liberatore has kind of hit a wall, more than kind of. It hasn't been very good in the second half. As much as I like the K upside in the matchup, I'm just going to pass. Jeffrey Springs, I'm just going to pass because St. Louis is not a huge K team. Springs has been walking guys too. I just don't know if there's enough upside for me to play Jeffrey Springs on this particular slate. Yankees and Astros, Jason Alexander, I'm not going to get there against the Yankees. He did have a strong start against them the last time he faced them. 21 fantasy points, pretty nice. If he does it again, so be it. I'm going to bank on a little bit of regression in that matchup. He hasn't been very good at home. Obviously, he's kind of bounced around a little bit. I think he's been mostly with Houston, but still, I just don't think it's the spot to rely on him. Will Warren, performances are all over the place. His K numbers are down right now. I want to dig into some of his splits. He hasn't been as great on the road, allowing a ton of base runners, but there's K upside, and if he dominates right-handed bats, Houston's one of those matchups. They're so right-hand heavy in their lineup that I think Will Warren could come into play. So it is something I want to look into, as the afternoon progresses before I make a final decision. Last game on this slate, Coors game. German Marquez, definitely not playing German Marquez. Robbie Ray. Gonna play some Robbie Ray. You're going to understand that it is a super volatile spot. Single digits or negative points in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Strikeouts have kind of come down. Walks have been up recently. Ton of worry there, but 2 starts against Colorado. Been pretty dominant, just 2 earned runs allowed in 11 innings. Strikeout rate is a little better on the road, but his home runs allowed is obviously a little better, and walks are a little higher, and his walk rate is higher. So it is a scary spot, Robbie Ray and his volatility in Coors, but it is the Colorado Rockies lineup, and we love to attack them, especially with high strikeout type pitchers, just because Colorado, is 1B to LA's 1A as far as strikeouts go. So there we have it. There's our first look at the pitching options for today's slate. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code 20 kickoff 2025. For 20% off your VIP membership for life. I will put that in the description, obviously. I think that ends this Sunday. Don't quote me on that for sure. Want to get you guys the best offer that we do have available. And right now, that Kickoff 2025 is the best promo code that we've ever done at DFS Army. And as always, I will drop a link to the merch store down in the description. You can check out my hoodie, some of the other designs that we do have on the site as well. Fade the Chalk, Trust the Process, Shark Lab. With NFL ramping up, the Shark Lab comes into play. But anyways, as always, people, best of luck.